Work study can not only offset the cost of attending college, but also help students gain applied experience that helps us secure jobs after graduation. Would you support creating a need-based work study program for low-income students? And how can we encourage more African American students to not only attend school, but stay in school?
There are some people who suggest that race should not play a role in a political campaign. But our view is that race has and continues to play a role in all of our public agencies. It plays a role in education, it plays a role in housing, it plays a role in healthcare. And until race no longer plays a role in our public agencies, and until we close the racialized gaps that exist in public services, race has a proper role to play in our campaign. We need to make sure that, number one, we're reinvesting in higher education. Again, Bruce Rauner has gutted our higher education infrastructure in Illinois. He starved it of $1 billion. We need to provide a more robust work-study program for students. We need to invest in apprenticeship opportunities. We'd like to create 500,000 new apprenticeship programs so students, not unlike you, Malik, can gain firsthand work experience while you're in school. You can visit our website for our education plan, which has more on this issue at kennedy4illinois.com. Thank you.
I've outlined many sources of where we can get new sources of money: legalizing marijuana, casino gambling for the city of Chicago. Some people say, oh, this will victimize poor people like that. The people of Chicago already have casino gambling. The trouble is, it's in Indiana, in Wisconsin, and other places. The casino gambling I'm talking about would be mainly for tourists coming into the city. And this would generate billions of new dollars. And that's one of the ways to solve this problem. Now, in my closing statement, I want to introduce a plan to you whereby minorities in this city are going to have enormous amounts of new power, political power. And I will mention that in my closing statement.
You know, I think ever since Election Day, federal election, there's been something new every day. It is the gift that keeps on giving, if you want to call it a gift. Today I read that Betsy DeVos in her budget proposal wants to cut work-study programs, and also wants to make cuts to programs that would allow students, I think Rod Joy mentioned earlier, you mentioned about the city year or programs like that. Programs that are service learning programs where students can get experience, get a stipend, but also serve their communities. The Trump administration wants to cut that. So both of those are examples of why we have to make sure that on the governor's level here in Illinois, at the state level, that we have somebody who's going to be a strong advocate to push back against the Trump administration. When you have, at the federal level, talks about cutting work-study programs, which we know cutting work-study programs are going to disproportionately impact low-income families and students of color who need those programs to continue to go to school. I think the other thing that when we look at those kinds of cuts is we recognize that just about in every single area, when you talk about why we need to make sure that students of color can continue to have opportunities to go to school and matriculate through college, is because all the disparities that we see in almost every area, whether it's education, whether it's criminal justice reform, whether it's housing, whether it's healthcare, all of those issues disproportionately impact communities of color. And we have to make sure that we expand opportunities so that students can go to school and have the kinds of experiences through work study or other internships to leave those colleges and universities and have the kind of job that will put them on the path of a long-term career. So we're seeing high rates of unemployment from communities of color. One of the ways that we can help that is make sure that we focus on getting those opportunities in college.
I see that I've heard graduate students be mentioned here. Are there any recipients of the Diversifying Higher Education Faculty in Illinois Fellowship? DFI? Well, that's a fellowship program that provides an opportunity for, at this point, it's graduate students to pursue their research, to pursue the things that they're most passionate about and intertwine it into their academic program, they receive a waiver, they often receive a stipend. And the part that is great about it is that if you receive that particular fellowship, you are obligated to go and teach or be an administrator or do something in some capacity at a state institution because it's a state program. There's nothing but political will and lack of revenue, which we talked about some ways to address revenue, that is preventing us from making that a program that we could expand to undergraduate students. And I think the opportunity to pursue your passion, to pursue your research under the tutelage of a faculty member, an administrator, some of the departments on campus, whether it be, like I said, academic or student affairs type department, there's nothing preventing us from expanding that to undergraduate students. And I think it also gives the opportunity for those students to return either to their campus or community and provide some sense of service as a way of paying the state back for those particular opportunities. And I would fight and push for that type of a program. So thank you for your question.